right, this is the Evan Ginzburg Show at villageconnectionradio.com. Jim Savali at the helm. Want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm dressed appropriately. And without further ado, we're going to talk wrestling. We have Imani Labels from IWW and FTW.
Yes,
and
sir.
Imani is here to promote his new promotion, and
Yes.
Tom Frazier, the promoter, will be joining us later in the show.
Absolutely.
And for you wrestling fans, Simply Splendid Bobby C will be here later as well. Plus live music in studio with JMI, Junk Made Ill. So Imani, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, been in the business for a while.
What's a while?
Well, unofficially or officially.
Whatever.
Officially since like 2013.
Okay.
Started training.
Plenty of guys have gone broke in 6 years, so you're doing okay. Yeah.
Well, I suppose.
You know how many promoters I've seen like lose their life savings, their wives, their girlfriends. I mean, so you're doing
Yikes.
okay. You're in there 6 years.
Well, when you put it like that, then yeah, I guess I am doing all right.
That's right.
Yeah, so started out at WW with Johnny Raj. Trained there for a while, sustained a back injury. Subsequently had to leave and, get myself together.
One of the running themes on this show is how great is Johnny Rods. I grew up on Johnny Rods. I saw him wrestle Billy Robinson at the Garden. It was like a clinic. I saw him wrestle Fujinami for the junior heavyweight title. I saw him wrestle Black Gordman. This guy was so great. And the idiot fans think like a one-loss record is how you judge a wrestler. They have no idea how great Johnny Rods was. Am I right?
No, you're absolutely correct. He's actually in the Hall of Fame. And he got inducted into the Hall of Fame before the Hall of Fame was really like prestigious and before everybody, knew what the Hall of Fame was about. So I kind of wish he was inducted like, these days where everybody is like, privy to what the Hall of Fame is. But, he's in there, so I think he deserves it.
And he deserves it.
Absolutely.
Johnny Rods is one of the most consistent wrestlers I've ever seen. Johnny Rods, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, Roderick Strong,
Okay.
Homicide. These guys never have a bad match. Never have a bad match. Am I right?
Well, I can say that about Johnny. I can only speak about what I'm familiar with. So I've seen a lot of his stuff, and no, he's really good, man.
Yeah.
And he tried to teach us like the right way to do stuff.
And not only is he good, it looks convincing.
Yeah.
When you watch Shane McMahon throw those horrific punches, you go, that's the boss's son. Johnny Rods looks like he could murder you. Am I right?
Yeah. I remember watching him and Hogan. Have you ever seen that match, him and Hogan?
Yeah.
That was like amazing to just see him on that level with like, Hogan and stuff. So.
And then fans have this thing, they throw this jobber label out. Johnny Rods was a main event wrestler. Johnny Rods main evented in L.A. As Java Rook. It was a original Chic takeoff. He main evented. He was big in Puerto Rico. They judge everything by your WWE or WWF.
Because I've heard that. I've heard them refer to him as like a jobber and stuff like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Same thing with Mike Sharp. Mike Sharp main evented in certain territories.
A
lot of these guys.
Who is that again? Because
I am Mike Sharp. He passed away recently.
Oh, okay, that's why his name is ringing a bell.
But I'm just saying, these guys from their WWE runs get this jobber label, and people saw them when they were older, or Vince pushed them down for whatever reason, and it doesn't represent their whole career.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But anyway, getting back to you, tell us a little more about yourself.
Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, so the Johnny thing. I was there for WW for a while. Sustained an injury, had to fall back for a while. Did therapy and all of that stuff. I was actually instructed to stay out of the ring permanently. But when you love this business, you love this business. So I wouldn't hear any of it. Started training again. It's funny because Bobby C is on the show later. I used to go to the FTW events, and I met Bobby, and we had a conversation one day, and he was like, "Yo, listen, man, you should get back in the business." When he gets on, you can ask him about this. I don't know if he remembers, right. But he was like, you should get back in the business and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know. But I eventually, did, and I got with FTW because that's the company he was wrestling for at the time, and so just went to the training facility and just got back in action and did it like that.
And in the car, Bobby was speaking highly of you, and anybody that knows wrestling car rides, usually it doesn't work like that. It's like, that promoter's an asshole, that, he was speaking well of you.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Respect.
There you go. And tell us about IWW. We have, 2,000 promotions in the United States now. What's going to make you guys special?
Oh man, IWW. Let me tell you something. It's just, I feel like we're going to be like a breath of fresh air, because there's nothing wrong with the independent wrestling scene today, but I think that what we're bringing to the independent wrestling scene is something brand new. We're just trying to exist on a whole nother level. Quality. We just want all of our matches to be quality, our venues to be quality, talent to be quality. We just want our production to just
so
be
that
100.
means we're not booking your idiot cousin. We're not booking somebody's girlfriend. We're not booking the promoter's mistress or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, those guys probably
I'm
won't
making
make...
generalities.
Right,
I'm talking about you
right.
guys.
No, those guys probably won't make the cut. But,
exactly. As a fan, I've been to thousands of indie matches, and it's always the same nonsense. The mic doesn't work. Regardless, you have 17 guys on the mic. Three-quarters of them can't talk to begin with. It's just a pounding in your head. It's just noise. You don't even understand what they're saying. Just let quality wrestlers wrestle. Have one or two angles to put over the main event, put over the next show. It doesn't have to be a 4.5 hour endurance contest. It's not rocket science. Indie wrestling, you have 6, 7, 8, 9 good matches.
Right.
You have a tag match, a women's match, 2 high flyers, 2 brawlers. You mix it up. It doesn't have to be, 17 matches, 5 hours. Always leave the fans wanting more. I was at a show recently. It was so loud. It was so hot. It was so long. By the time the main event got on, you were shot. They could have had the best match in history. You wouldn't have fully enjoyed it.
Right.
I was once at an indie show. They put up a cage at 12:15 at night. It's absurd. It's absurd.
What time did the show start?
The show started like 7:38.
Wow.
And 15 matches later, 17 matches later, whatever it was, they're putting up a cage.
That's insane.
If you put $1 million in front of me right now, I couldn't tell you who was in that cage.
Wow.
It was 2 ECW guys. That's all I remember.
That's just bad booking.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not that complicated. People make it complicated.
Right. It's not that complicated, but it is a science. Like, you have to come at it from that standpoint. Like, booking a professional wrestling event is a science.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've surrounded myself with some really, really brilliant people, and we're just really going to take this thing to the next level. It's a controlled environment. Once you lose control of your product, then things can go crazy. But when you got everybody in play to play their part, and they know what they're doing, and, it's not crossing up, nobody is, like, bumping heads and stuff like that, you can really get a quality product.
And a show should build. It should build to the main event. Every match doesn't have to have 37 high spots and the guys all doing the same moves. And
That's a fact.
You build.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you stuff that happened at Madison Square Garden in the 70s and 80s, and there's indie shows I saw a month ago I couldn't tell you what happened because it's a blur. It's like a meaningless blur, a lot of it. And I'm not making blanket statements. There are promotions that are better than others. But at times, it comes off as amateurish. So, you guys sound like you have the idea to do something better.
Well, yeah, we that's definitely our intentions. I don't want to say like we're going to do something better than what's going on. We just want to provide a quality company to the scene. There's some great companies out right now.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't want to compete with anybody. We look at everybody as our allies. We love all of the companies out there.
In the old days, the genius promoters would be ripping down each other's posters and slashing tires, and you don't need that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. There's room for everybody. At the end of the day, we're the same community. We got to stick together.
But what I would recommend is build your own stars. Build your own stars. You don't want the same guys that are on every other show, because then it just kind of feels like the same thing.
That's true. That's very true. In fact, if you check out our roster at imperialwrestling.com, you'll see that we have some talent that you may not be familiar with, or you may be familiar with, but just not from the New York area and stuff like that. So we're moving around. We're trying to mix things up.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell us what the letters IWW stand for.
It stands for Imperial World Wrestling.
Imperial World Wrestling. Okay.
Yes. We want to make a powerful statement, and that sounds pretty powerful.
Imperial World Wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Imperial, I grew up on King Ernie Ladd, King Harley Race, King Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
So that's a good legacy.
Which one of those guys is the true king?
Harley Race.
Nah.
Harley Race. Elvis.
Somebody
Jim
said
Savali
Elvis.
said Elvis. Speaking of that, Jim, what do you think of these guys who now are going? Elvis should be judged like Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
I mean,
I think we should go through the history of the world and judge everyone that's gone.
Elvis was a hillbilly 50, 60 years ago. It was a different society. And back then they would marry real young.
Back in the 1800s, people got married when they were 14 years old. So we should dig those all up and really just judge everyone. Because society's changed. I mean, people used to get married younger.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not endorsing anything Michael Jackson may have done, but I'm just saying, to judge everybody else by the same, So then they go, Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. Yeah, and it destroyed his career.
Yeah,
destroyed his career.
What else is crazier, though? Like, the parents were okay with it. Like, they were okay with the whole situation, kind of. It was all about money. The
different
father was
society.
Like, you can date my daughter as long as I'm your manager,
Well, it's like thousands of years ago. You'd give the farmer an ox and 2 cows for the daughter.
A newborn, yeah. They would take them when they were young.
Imani's going, this has nothing to do with wrestling.
No, I was getting into the conversation. I was just listening.
Yeah. This is all stream of consciousness. You see, I have no questions in front of me, just plugs. So, speaking of that, plug anything you want to plug, because we're going to bring on Tom Frazier from IWW in a few.
Okay, so we officially have the date for our first show. I'm going to let Tom make that announcement. But I will make an announcement to our huge IWW press conference, the inaugural IWW press conference, and the official date for that press conference is going to be April 27th. Okay. And it's going to be held in Queens. And I believe Tom got the address for you guys. So when he comes on, he'll give you the address and start time. Now, it's a press conference in a traditional sense, but with a slight little nuance. We're going to actually have a draft at this press conference. So we're going to be drafting some of the applicants. We just received so many applications. Like, we were overwhelmed with the amount of people who reached out to us and who's interested in this company. We did not anticipate that much support. So
tell them requirement number 1 is you have to have wrestling gear. No sneakers. Look professional.
Well, for
That's
us,
from Uncle Evan. Well,
for us, our main requirement is to have some proper training.
Yeah, training and gear. Yeah, exactly.
So we've selected. We have a roster already. So what we're doing with the remaining applicants is we're gonna have a draft and select maybe 5 to 6 people from the applicants at the press conference.
Okay, and we have a film clip that you provided, I believe. We're gonna show that right now. Okay, you want to set it up?
Okay, yeah. Well, this clip right here is actually not from IWW. This clip right here.
Set it up anyway.
Okay, well, this clip right here is showing a transition from me as a professional wrestler and moving on to the being an executive producer.
You're much too calm for this business. Once things start rolling, you'll be a nervous wreck. Too many egos. Enjoy the calm before the storm.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Everything was going great until I heard those 2 words. I'm pregnant.
I found out I was pregnant, and I told Imani that he had to leave. He had to stop wrestling because I felt that it was such a dangerous job, and this is something that I did not want. So that was something that was hard for him to decide. But at the end, he decided that it was best for his family.
Some of the diehard fans knew it was my last night, but most of the fans didn't know anything at all. I remember leaving the ring that night feeling so sad. I didn't want it to end. I've done a lot in the professional wrestling business. I was a referee, professional wrestler, commentator, and now I'm executive producer. I really like being executive producer. It just feels right. I get a chance to work with so many people that I grew up watching on TV. And I think that's pretty cool. But most importantly, I get to work with all of the new talent. And for me, that's very special.
Kings of the Ring is wrestling's first audio drama podcast as a fictional depiction of the 1980s wrestling industry in and out of the ring. Join us as we take you back to the 1980s. You'll be a fly on the wall in the locker rooms of the past while the wrestlers put together matches. We'll take you into the jam-packed arenas where the rabid fans of the past believed everything they saw was real. We'll take you inside the ring where you'll hear what the wrestlers talk about and you can feel the action. We'll take you to the underbelly of the arena where the wrestlers got into all sorts of trouble. And we'll take you to the bars and clubs where the boys got into even more trouble. And it wouldn't be 80s wrestling if we didn't end up at the hotel room. Search Kings of the Ring from any podcast app or go straight to the website kingsotr.com.
Days a year as a wrestler on the road. Maybe it's a sickness.
350 days a year.
A lot of physical pain, a lot of loneliness.
You have no home life whatsoever.
Piper and me riding down the road, doing 8 balls of cocaine. I'm sure it broke up marriages.
How many guys in the wrestling business have a family left when they're done? Most of them lose it.
I couldn't have children. I couldn't put them on a turnbuckle while mommy worked.
I hit the bars. And that was my character.
Sitting in a room with a bunch of wrestlers doing cocaine, we really got to know each other.
I would take a lot of downers, and I did have problems with the downers.
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I was not a faithful husband from the first day, for the whole time on the road. I lived a double life.
I needed it. It was like, I'm not getting the love I needed home.
Would I do? Oh my God, I'm afraid to say I would do it again.
I wouldn't change a thing.
No regrets.
Well, I want to tell you, to make some big money in wrestling, you had to wrestle every night of the week, $30 every day. So you had to wrestle 6 and 7 times every week just to earn your money.
350 days on the road with wrestlers, a living hell.
All right, we're back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at villageconnectionradio.com, and we want to thank our sponsors. And back with us is Chief Operating Officer and Executive Producer of IWW, Imani Labels, joined by the owner, Tom Frazier, owner of IWW. And welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate the opportunity to come and divulge a little information, make a couple announcements regarding the company. As you heard from Imani earlier, we've finally figured out where we're going to hold episode 1. So that announcement will come a little bit later in the interview. I just wanted to, first of all, publicly thank Imani for everything he's done, because originally this whole company was me and one of my partners who owned a radio station out in Queens, DJ Mainstream, and he had the idea. It was a dormant company, and once he started up his radio station, he had no time to allocate towards IWW. So what he did was, I was his right-hand man with the radio station. He said, Tom, I'd like you to take this company and, make something of it. So for the past 3 years, I've been trying to get it up off the ground. A couple unsuccessful attempts, just due to funding and whatnot. And then finally, maybe 4 months ago, me and Amani had a sit-down meeting. First time we'd ever met each other, and we spoke, and he noticed. I went over my whole business plan with him, and
You realize this is pro wrestling, and there's a good chance a year from now you guys will hate each other.
we already hate each other.
Okay.
We've already been butting heads, but that's business, and we both understand that. We both understand that we're not going to agree on certain things, and I respect his business acumen, and he respects mine.
You know what I tell people in the wrestling business? Wrestling has a lot of flavors. I was talking to Simply Splendid before. Like, we're not big on the Joey Ryan shtick.
That's fair. It's not for everyone.
But at the same time, I'm good with Ricochet with all the high spots. I know a lot of old school fans. They looked at Ricochet and Will Ospreay as like a video game, and I thought it was odd. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
so people like different things, and if you could appeal to a wide audience as opposed to a niche audience, I think you'll do well.
Well,
I agree.
The current direction that I want to go is we want to bring back storylines. We want to make storylines prominent, which not to say that nobody does storylines, because there are promotions that they dabble, but we're looking to take that to the next level. I want the storylines to drive IWW. You know what I'm saying? I want people to need to tune in to the next episode because they need to know what
And when you
happens.
say episode, is there going to be TV or
Yes,
YouTube?
we'll be running episodic, and
Yes,
it's gonna be on Fight Network,
Really?
YouTube, and Amani Labels Network.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So we're
And what's your network?
It's My Labels Network. We're on
That's
television
I
every
know,
week.
That confused me too. I was like,
2 days out the week.
Wait, say it slower so the audience could absorb it.
Money Labels Network. We're on television 2 days out of the week.
Okay, and spell it.
IMANII Labels LABELS Network.
Okay.
And so I want people to be able to tune into the next episode because they need to know what happens next. That's something that happens often in independent wrestling where the fans, they come, they see the show, they see a great wrestling match, they applaud, oh wow, high spots, whatever, and that's great. But then there's nothing that connects them to the next episode that they need to come back and see what happens next. They saw their nice wrestling match, and they could take a couple shows off.
I agree. I would just say you need a happy medium where you don't have
of
27 storylines running through every show where it's
Right.
overkill.
Right. It's
I heard
controlled. It's very controlled.
What you were saying earlier about how a lot of times they have a bunch of guys on the mic, half of them can't even talk.
Even WWE.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is a great talker. Chris Jericho is a great talker. Some of these guys can't talk. Why do you have them on the mic all the time?
Agreed.
Yeah.
We the roster that we put together, it's been more of a casting process than a booking process. I
True.
mean, in indie wrestling, you book the wrestlers, and that is what we're doing. But in a sense, it's more of a casting because I'm not just booking guys based off their wrestling ability. I'm booking guys based off their character, based off their gimmick, and it's not even a matter of I like his gimmick. It's a matter of I've got an idea of something in my head, a storyline or an angle that I've written, and this guy's perfect for it. So that's why it's more of a casting. It's the same way that you would cast an actor because he's perfect for a role.
Right.
Awesome.
It's a different approach, man. Our whole approach is different.
I'm intrigued. I mean, and I'm jaded, so I see the potential here.
Yeah. So going back to what I was saying earlier, me and Amani, we had that sit-down meeting, and I originally brought him on as executive producer because he has experience. He's been an executive producer for Fight the World Wrestling for how long?
I'm not sure. I retired in 2017 from the ring, so.
Fight the World's been out there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
shout out to Fight the World. Shout out
definitely.
to Brian.
Earl Kuda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's my guy.
He's a nice guy. I like him.
Yeah.
There are a lot of promoters. Like I said, I wouldn't spit on if they were on fire. Earl, I like. So.
That's my brother. He's been always good to me. So.
And so that kind of was like a kick in the ass for me. I'm sorry if I.
No, it's fine.
Cool.
It's internet.
Keep it PG.
Right, cool. Just checking. But that was kind of helped me get my momentum back and together, the two of us have just been working nonstop, overseeing the day-to-day operations.
You guys, you two guys are far too normal for the wrestling business. You might actually succeed.
Well, it's growing because at first this was just a promotion. Now it's a whole company and it's a business.
Oh, yeah.
It's just grown into
Well, that's
something.
the thing.
Yes,
You have
sir.
to treat it as a business. I once had a promoter say to me, and I won't name names to blame the guilty, but he once said to me, Jim, he goes, I put on 20 shows and I lost money on 18 of them, but I'm gonna keep going. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe you should, readjust or,
Right.
I couldn't make this up.
Not to say not keep going, but definitely you got to take a look at what you're doing. But
Reassess is the
I
word.
read somewhere that the usual small business in America doesn't reach profit levels until 2 years. Like they're in the hole for the first 2 years, most. You know what I'm saying?
But this had been going on for like a decade. He would just run shows, lose money, run shows, lose money. I've seen guys burn through fortunes, absolute fortunes. I once was at an event. The guy lost $35,000 in one night, and his girlfriend left him. And his girlfriend left him the same night.
Is he okay?
This was in Georgia. I don't know. This was a long time ago. So I'm online with Johnny Valiant, and we're waiting for our payoff. And it's going from 20s to 10s to 5s. Finally, we got paid.
Man.
I don't think the guy behind us got paid. And we were like, let's get out of here, Johnny. That's the wrestling business.
Yeah.
That's the business.
It's
It's
rough.
cutthroat. As guys, they go out there and they wrestle for hot dogs sometimes. And that's unacceptable. Even
And unhealthy.
Yeah. Right, and we should probably mention that all of our talent is
everybody's
getting paid, from the ring announcer to the referees to the guy working the door.
In cash.
Everybody gets paid
And,
at IWW. So
it's crazy.
Okay, so let me throw this out to you guys. And again, I won't mention names, but I'm a New Yorker, lifelong New Yorker, involved in wrestling forever.
Mm-hmm.
The same dozen or so indie guys promote, and most of the indie guys don't promote. So as promoters, why wouldn't you hire the guys that promote all the time?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm hiring guys based off their character, and then when
If the guy doesn't put one body in a seat because he's not willing to promote whatsoever, you follow my logic?
That's interesting.
We were just speaking on this on the train over.
Like,
here.
I'll give you an example.
Yes, we were.
Mike Orlando. This guy constantly promotes, and he's legitimately good.
Mike
That's a
Orlando.
guy I would book.
I like Mike.
Mike Orlando, he's a consummate professional.
Yeah. So
Great guy.
if you're great in the ring, and you have a following, and you actually make the effort to sell tickets, that's a guy I would put in there.
I totally agree with you. In
Mike
fact,
Orlando,
we had
and
this
he gets a lot of
conversation
bookings. He does. He's
early.
one of the most.
But how hard is it for a guy, to plug his matches instead of, oh, by the way, I'm wrestling tonight.
Right.
Like, that's not promotion.
It's expected to promote, and so far, because I have a personal relationship with most of the guys that I'm booking. There's only a handful of guys that I book strictly off, just checking out their footage and liking them. Most of them, I've met them, over the past 2 or 3 years, and I have a relationship with them now because I've known that I want to book them, and the guys that I book, there's an understanding, they will promote, and they know.
Well, you understand. I hope they understand.
No, because they do. I book guys that are very intimate. They're into it, not intimate. No.
Yeah.
And they get into the storylines and they promote and they and it's a necessity.
Brother Greatness promotes. Simply Splendid promotes. Who else? Rage constantly promotes.
Yep.
There's certain guys that know how to promote themselves.
I only just met Rage. I was shadowing Amani at a Fight the World show a couple months ago.
Chris Michaels constantly promotes.
I was blown away by Rage's presentation. He's got he has the table set up on the side, and he's got his little action figurines.
He treats it as a business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
But this guy will let you know 47 times that he's got a booking. Yeah. So it just makes sense to me that guys like this, especially a Mike Orlando, who's top notch,
and he's popular.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah. I think it's necessary to reach out to guys like that.
And you promote, and you're not as popular as so like a Mike Orlando. I can't fault you for not being popular. That's the whole point. We're booking you. Maybe popularity will rise over time as you get better.
I just got an idea. since we're talking indie wrestling in general, why don't we take a brief pause and bring Simply Splendid Bobby C out as well to join the conversation?
Sounds good.
And plug anything you want to plug first.
Well, let's see. You can find us at Imperial World Wrestling on Instagram. Imperial World Wrestling is our Facebook page. World Wrestling is our Twitter. And ImperialWrestling.com, that's our website. So that's all the places you can find us. Our office number is 347-603-8972 for any
you do
potential
realize
workers.
wrestling fans will always like prank call people. So
Well, wrestling
brace
fans, please
yourself.
don't. Any
Monty and the Pharaohs show.
God bless our receptionist, because that's unfortunate. But no, it's an office number. It's not myself. So
okay,
if you're trying to prank
we
call
won't.
me,
We won't
fail
get the
it.
call.
Yeah,
Good.
you're just
The
annoying
office
the
will
hell
get the call.
out of our receptionist.
Yeah.
But and I guess we'll make the announcement now. Episode 1 will be held on June 22nd. That's Saturday.
22nd.
Saturday, June 22nd in Queens, New York, at Martin Luther High School. It's right on Maspeth Avenue. It's in the greater Maspeth area. Definitely come out. The flyer will be released soon. More details, the card, all that stuff, ticket prices.
Do you have a main event?
No,
Can't
not yet.
say it yet?
That'll be
Okay.
on the card.
Yep.
That'll be on the card. I know you
Just-
want the leaks. But
Yeah, just check the website regularly
Yeah.
at imperialwrestling.com. The website gets updated quite frequently.
Let me say
And for the millennials, social media also will be updated frequently. So follow us, like us, support.
Let me say a pet peeve as a longtime fan. When I see a poster with 37 guys on it and no main event, no co-feature, I go, what's motivating me to go to this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it's important to promote a legitimate main event with two top-notch guys or women or whatever the case may be, and
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. Because otherwise, all these posters start to look the same.
Yeah.
I live in Queens, so I'm like, I'll go to the Elks Lodge. I'm not traveling to New Jersey. It starts to look the same after a while. So main events do count.
For you people watching that frequent indie shows and frequent Queens indie shows, Martin Luther High School, it's actually in the same neighborhood as Elks Lodge. So
Right.
if you've been to the Elks Lodge
I've been
plenty
there,
of times.
and it's a nice big venue. Yeah.
Martin Luther is maybe a 5 to 10 minute drive from there, straight shot down Grand Avenue.
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's all local.
Is it
Still
near,
in
near
a-
the Grand Avenue subway?
Yeah.
Relatively.
Relatively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
All right. And let me do a couple of quick plugs myself. Yours truly will be at WrestleCon with Greg the Hammer Valentine and Coco Beware, April 5th and 6th. The following day, mark out at the Meadowlands, yours truly with Greg the Hammer Valentine. And of course, 350 days. I'm the associate producer, Superstar Billy Graham, Bret Hart,
Nice.
Greg Valentine, Tito Santana, Ox Baker, Paul Mr. Wonderful Wondoff, and 36 or so other legends. April 2nd, iTunes, video on demand,
Yes.
Blu-ray, DVD, don't miss it. You missed the birth of your mother and father, don't miss 350 days. And congratulations to CPW's We Don't Play fight. They just ran in Chicago, and we'll be bringing that to New York in the fall. Wrestling Meets Theater. I'll be
Oh.
involved with that, with Jason
Interesting.
Calabrese.
That's very interesting.
And we want to thank one of our sponsors, SWF Wrestling, Rob Fury and the crew. These guys bust their ass promoting.
Oh yeah.
And I write for ProWrestlingStories.com. I recently did pieces on Pedro Morales and many of the legends. They kind of veer towards history. ProWrestlingStories.com. And in just a minute, we're going to bring out Simply Splendid Bobby C and talk more indie wrestling. So don't go anywhere, folks.
Sure.
And you guys stick around also. We'll have a panel discussion.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sounds good.
We here.
Round and round, it's all she knows. Play the part of being used. The more she hides, the more I show. I wanna be abused by you. Your body's like an undertow. You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows. Everything I need. afterglow, living on a fuse. Cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taken. Like the more that she break me, the more I like to take.
And we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at villageconnectionradio.com. And we are joined by Simply Splendid Bobby C. Always resplendent.
I am splendid, and I do remember the conversation from Monty about him coming back. It's just that, and it's true. I mean, and,
is the mic good, Jim?
I'm very happy to see that you have a new fresh blood coming into Queens again, and by the way everything sounds, these guys definitely have something interesting to watch, and I think that they could do very well.
Yeah, sometimes when I go into an indie show and they have some angle and their last card was 3 or 4 months prior and you weren't at the last card and they just assume you're emotionally involved in it, it doesn't work. I think you guys have the right idea.
Episodic. Everything will be, if you say you do miss a show, everything will be available online for you to catch up, because we understand not everybody's going to be able to make their shows, but if you do come out, there's no reason to not be caught up. So everything will be available online on multiple platforms.
Right, and plus we plan on showing recaps, like, before the show started or whatever, via our I don't want to call it a Titantron, but our state-of-the-art projector. Wow. I'll call it that. Wow. Yeah. So
in stereo, you guys are working together.
Everybody be caught up to speed. It's going to feel like a show. Like, I'm just very excited about everything we got planned.
That's good.
That's so excited.
And you're calm and excited, which is good.
Yeah.
Some wrestling promoters are out of their minds. Out of their minds. And Bobby's worked for many of them.
Oh, my God, you don't know. I mean, been all over. It's getting better. Team Splendid is picking up. We have a new member coming. He's working on getting himself together physically. He had a hip replacement, but Ron is going to be our butler, and eventually he'll work his way back. And he is the nephew of one Bad News Brown.
Yeah. Bad News Brown was great.
Pick up. Bad News.
A lot of stuff coming up for Bobby. I am wrestling for SWF next Saturday night. Bayville Elks Lodge. Go. It's a raise for Val. It's a fundraiser for Val, I should say. And I'm in a 4-way. Hitman Jones, Philly Mike Swanson, and my mentor. Nothing personal that night, Billy. So Christopher Michaels is going to be in the ring. We're going 4 ways. I'm in Massachusetts this Friday night for a new company. And then I am in Santo Domingo. April 7th. Again, I will crush some Santo Domingans. I will crush them again.
There you
He's
go.
working. He's working.
I'm all over. And I agree. I think wrestling needs to go back to storylines. It needs to go back to the old days. Not this flippity flop that my mentor always talks about, Sir Christopher, where there's 1,000 high spots in the match, but there's no stories being told. Tell a story. Have a gimmick. I'm a gimmick. I'm something out of the 80s. Not everybody
You're something out of the
appreciates it.
50s. Gorgeous
Maybe.
George. Yeah.
Possibly. Who I've been compared to Bobby Shane.
Yeah. Bobby Shane went down in a plane crash.
Yeah. I mean, I've been compared to people like that. And it's the best gimmick I think I've done. You know, I started as a tag team with Eric Jaden.
I remember that.
And we were the Disrespectfuls, and we were popular. But then there was a time where Eric wanted to do his own thing. I went my separate way. He went his separate way. And then I formed another tag team with the Disassemblers, which I don't really consider to be a success. But we were out there for a minute. And then...
But what's your definition of success?
It's constantly reinventing yourself. Where you're... remember, when you're a wrestler, you have a shelf life. And this is why you must promote yourself. And you must do your promos. Because you know what? You want people to constantly see that you're out there. You want to give them a reason to come to that show. You want to get a reaction.
I mean, I would think with the technology today, any wrestler could cut promos, download it. I don't understand why more aren't doing it.
Lazy.
Yeah, just
laziness and no heart and don't really have the passion for it.
And then they'll sit and critique Raw or SmackDown. Why don't you promote yourself?
And with our promos, when I watch and I laugh and I don't even watch it, these guys are doing 5-6 minute promos. No. You get your point. No promo should be more than a minute to a minute and 30 seconds. You get your point across. It's fresh. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. That's all they need to know. Yeah. These guys, and the common thing, you know what I mean? Well, I'm going to get you, brother. No. Just speak like you're speaking, like I'm speaking to you right now. Let it come out naturally.
Yeah. Johnny Valiant told me back in the day, they would go down to the studio and basically they would say, okay, August 1st, Philadelphia Spectrum, Valiant Brothers versus Ho and Gorilla. And they would just improv the whole thing and bust it out in one take.
That's what I do.
And that's it,
Me and Billy do it all the time.
Yeah. So I don't see why more guys aren't doing that. I mean, the technology is there. In the old days, it was hard. You have to drive to a studio, have a professional. Now you can do it in your living room, whatever, garage. It's a piece of cake, and I think it's sheer laziness.
And I just want to add this: SWF is worth the trip to go down to Bayville. You're actually going to see a great show, great lineup, and Rob Fury and the boys down there always have something up their sleeve. So if anybody's listening to this, take a look at SWF. Not saying it because I wrestled there, but I'm saying as a whole, the company is expanding. They're doing so many shows, and they're doing storylines. They're doing things that make sense. Just like my two gentlemen here, Amani, I've known for a while. I'm very thrilled to see what this new company in Queens does. And I'm thrilled with SWF. I'm thrilled with a lot of things. Just bring back the storylines. And yes, if you're a wrestler, invest in yourself. Go get yourself some gear. You see guys with kick pads and t-shirts.
Sneakers.
Why are you wearing a t-shirt in the ring? If you got to wear a t-shirt in the ring, you know what? You better hit that gym and make yourself look like something.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Necessary.
Yeah.
And shout out to SWF too.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing.
So, what do you guys think about WrestleMania? I looked at that lineup. I'm like, I don't know if I'd pay $30 to see that at the Garden. Forget 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
Jeez.
I mean,
I have no interest, honestly.
Lord.
I saw Randy Orton and AJ Styles at the Garden. I forgot about it the next morning. They're making it like this is a big WrestleMania match.
I'll be wrestling in DR that weekend.
And I like AJ Styles.
I'll be on the jet skis. I could care less.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're trying something different this year with the build. I don't know. It seems to be working, to be honest. I've noticed a lot of fanfare about the whole Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey situation.
Yeah, I think people care more about Becky Lynch than the other matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to end up main eventing the whole show, which is groundbreaking.
Well, there's one other storyline that can rival that momentum. The whole Kofi deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's going to be with Daniel Bryan and who else?
It's looking like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the money. I mean, they'd be a fool if they do anything other than that. With
All right, since you mentioned it, do you think WWE's racist that they don't push the black wrestlers as much as they should, or?
It's hard to quantify that because there's so many people making so many different decisions. It is noteworthy that, you know, not many black stars have accomplished the highest strap or, you know, whatever.
Booker T's the exception.
Well, if you count in World Heavyweight Championships, then, you know.
Which is separate from the WWE title. But
Right.
what do you mean a bunch of people is making decisions? Because Vince gives the final.
Well, he gives the final say on everything, but I mean.
Well, here's my take on it as an old school fan. I'll turn on Ring of Honor. Jay Lethal comes out. He's an athlete. He's not dancing. He's not rapping. He just comes out as an athlete. And it seems to me in WWE, like even Kofi and the guys, sometimes it's borderline cartoonish. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's completely cartoonish.
Yeah.
The New Day, they look like cartoon characters with the vibrant, bright colors.
But is there a line that you cross? Why is everybody dancing? Why is everybody rapping? What?
Because it's PG.
Pertaining to you mean pertaining to the black talent?
Yeah. Why can't they come out as athletes? Bobby Lashley does.
Right.
But even with him, Leo Rush is a little cartoonish.
That's a good point, bro. Like, I never really gave it much thought.
Back in the days, you know, you had a lot of stereotypical characters.
I mean, why was Tony Atlas suddenly Samba Simba? Why, you know, it just seems like you're crossing a line at some point where you're playing to stereotypes. And I don't think it's always positive.
And what was the stereotype back in the 80s? They all had hard heads. They all did headbutts.
Yeah.
Tony Atlas,
that's
Steve Jones. I could go on and on.
Well, they did that with the Samoans.
I was about to say that too. Yeah. They also had that same deal with the Samoans. I don't know. Do you think there's some racism in the WWE?
I think if you're a billionaire from Connecticut and every black character has some kind of shtick, maybe. Because like I said in Ring of Honor, a Jay Lethal, a Shane Taylor, whoever the case may be, Kenny King will come out and just wrestle. Right. There's no shtick. They come out as athletes.
Right. So are you comfortable saying that the fact that there's never been a black WWE champion is by design?
I would say so. Everything's by design because they're looking at the bottom line. Vince is looking at green. Who's going to make the most money? So in his head, maybe Kofi Kingston isn't the guy. Yeah. You have to also understand that it's from a different era. Vince grew up on his dad's promotion, which was always super heavyweights. That's why he's in love with Brock Lesnar. You know, he's a super heavyweight. This is what he knows. This is what he caters to. This is what he understands. He's a bodybuilder himself. This is what he understands. So I think that's part of it. Kofi's not a big guy.
That and talking too.
What's that?
That and talking, like, you know, in Vince's mind, like a Jay Lethal. I don't think if Jay Lethal was in the WWE, I don't think Jay Lethal would ever see a world championship because
Jay Lethal would be on NXT or whatever.
Right, he's an athlete. He comes out, he puts on a great wrestling match. Vince doesn't particularly need that for his title. Vince wants a guy who can go out there and cut a promo and look like he's a monster.
Well, Brock Lesnar can't talk. That's why they gave him Heyman.
Yep. True. Well, that's Vince's new thing. Apparently, he loves the UFC appeal. He loves the MMA appeal. Supposedly everybody that's coming out of MMA and heading to WWE, Vince is loving that. Don't know why. I think it makes for a gray area when it comes to kayfabe, as you could see with Ronda. Because are you familiar with the whole Ronda Rousey breaking kayfabe ordeal?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. It doesn't bother me, but at the same time, you have the suspension of disbelief. And it's like if I'm watching a movie, I don't want like James Bond winking at the camera.
Right,
It's
exactly.
So it personally, I don't think it's great, but everybody knows at this point. Vince himself exposed the business
years ago.
Yeah,
Tom has a real problem with that.
Yeah, I don't. Something about it. Just the way she flat out said it, like when CM Punk and Triple H. That's what I keep getting as rebuttal. Say, oh well, CM Punk, he broke kayfabe. No, he didn't. He hinted at the fourth dimension. He blurred the lines. He says things like, oh, Vince McMahon's delusional. John Cena's an ass kisser. These are things that doesn't necessarily, that's behind the scenes.
Right.
But that's not saying, Ronda Rousey just flat out said, this is all fake, it's all scripted,
it was blatant.
And I could beat everybody's ass.
Yeah, as an old school fan, I don't particularly like it.
Yeah,
but
I didn't.
I'm at a point. All I want to see is great wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, it's all like it's just social media and nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to turn on a show and see a great wrestling match. Whether it's New Japan, to me, like Kenny Omega and Okada, that's art. That's art.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I want to see, and you don't see a lot of that in WWE. And I don't think Ronda Rousey is capable of that, to be honest. She's still relatively new.
Yeah, she's pretty green. She surpassed my expectations.
Oh yeah, she's a natural athlete.
Yeah, she's not bad, and
But if you want to really get real, the last 2 times in UFC, she got her ass kicked.
Yeah.
So she's not the toughest woman in the world either.
No.
Am I right?
She's probably by a landslide the toughest woman in WWE. But even still, I don't want to hear that because then I don't want you to sit there on the mic and tell me that you could beat everybody's ass and then go out there and then I have to sit there and try and believe that you are in a competitive wrestling match with somebody else.
Yeah.
For instance, she called Becky Lynch's armbar. She said it was a fake-ass armbar. And then that Tuesday on SmackDown, Becky Lynch puts Charlotte in the armbar. And Charlotte's selling it and she's tapping to it. And everybody's like, oh, she's in the armbar. Yeah, but your opponent just went off, script and said, well, that's a fake armbar. So now,
what Ronda Rousey's saying that is only going to do but so much damage. Everybody knows that wrestling is, it approximates actual fighting, but it's not actual fighting.
No, of course, but
so her saying that it's only going to do so much damage. It's not like it's going to hurt the product that much. Everybody knows what they're looking at.
I think it's at a point now, as long as people are talking about it and buying the tickets, and WrestleMania will sell out anyway.
Right.
I think that's all Vince cares about. I don't think there's any. If you're gonna take, Saudi blood money, whatever makes you money.
Did you say blood money?
Saudi blood money.
No, he's accurate.
He needs to just give up just step down and let Triple H and Shane and his daughter run the company.
I think the best thing they got going is NXT Takeover. I agree. That's Triple H's baby.
Vince needs to step aside and retire and enjoy his life.
Yeah, those takeovers are great. That's better than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
WrestleMania won't top that takeover show.
Nah, man. WrestleMania. No, WrestleMania.
Not on a wrestling.
No, I'm disagreeing. Not
on a wrestling.
Mania is Mania, baby. Like you'll get even the casual wrestling fans is gonna tune into WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, everybody will watch it, but it won't be as good a show as Takeover. Takeover on paper is an incredible show.
Well, we're just gonna have to see about that.
Yeah, I disagree. I think WrestleMania would be the better show. I think the better display of wrestling will be NXT.
Oh right? yeah. I mean, besides the fact that WrestleMania is going to be like 37 hours, you'll be exhausted by the time the main event comes on. Simply Splendid, you're old school. What do you think about all this?
I don't even watch it anymore, to be honest.
Really? Wow.
When the last time you watched?
Maybe about a month ago, and about 45 minutes later, I turned it off. And
really?
I enjoyed the girls. That's about it. I mean, I like the old school. I'm always on YouTube. I watch World Class.
Watch Wrestle Kingdom.
NWA.
Wrestle Kingdom's great.
I watch New Japan.
Yeah.
I watch certain things. But
they're on television here yet? In the U.S.?
Yeah, Axis.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And for anybody who wants to also get in that lane, what's it called? Noah.
Okay.
You familiar with Noah?
Yeah.
They're rebranding, and they're having a YouTube show. A show's live streaming on YouTube. So if anybody wants to get into a new promotion, a more modern promotion, Pro Wrestling Noah will be airing on, I think, April 2nd.
Are they out of Japan?
Yeah, they're out of Japan.
Who's that guy?
Hideo Itami was made famous over there before he came to NXT.
Before WWE squandered him.
And so, who knows? and now he's been released, and they're rebranding. So who knows? Maybe he'll end up back over there. But they're a refreshing wrestling brand. So I'm gonna put them over and say if you want to get in there, they're rebranding and they're just having a new show. So now would be a good time to get in there.
And I think the one that with Triple H, I mean, I think he's a tremendous booker. I think he could run the WWE and really bring it up quite a few notches. And
Well, NXT is certainly a better show than Raw or SmackDown. The takeovers are better than their pay-per-views. I tend to agree.
I can't watch it. I just can't. I can't sit there and waste 3 hours of my life on something
it's
that's
painful.
It's more than painful.
It's painful.
You know, I'd rather watch the old school. Lately I've been watching all the old Starcades, all the old. So I watched the Survivor Series from '87. Tremendous main event with Andre on one side and Hulk on the other side. You had Bam Bam Bigelow on Hulk's side, Ken Patera. I'm talking old school names.
Yeah.
On the other
Patera
side,
was
you had
great.
Andre. You had a one-man gang. It was I loved it. I enjoyed it.
If we're talking hitting up the network for old stuff, it's not as old. I'm younger, so SmackDown in the 2002-2003 years,
Yes, it was
run
good.
by Paul Heyman, being booked by Paul Heyman. That's some great stuff.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, see, I always wanted to know, was that like a kayfabe thing, or was he really booking?
No, he was in charge of SmackDown. They gave him SmackDown.
Really?
I agree 100% about that. That was definitely.
I was just
good
watching.
SmackDowns.
I was watching an interview saying that when they put him in charge of SmackDown, and they took, I think it was The Rock, and they asked him, who do you want? And they didn't want to give him nobody, and he says, I'll take Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit.
Wow.
And they laughed him out of the building. They were like, you're going to give us The Rock, and all you want is Eddie and Chris Benoit, who at the time were just, low-level mid-carders on Raw. And he said, yeah. And then he was talking about how those two, Rey Mysterio, Edge, they were all considered non-main event guys, and he put them in the main event, and that's how the SmackDown 6 kind of blew up. And he said it just made for great TV, and it's true. I credit Paul Heyman for making 6 or 7 main event guys, creating them in his own mind.
He's a creative genius.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we must wrap it up. We have a band anxiously waiting to come on. Plug anything you want to plug one last time.
Start with you, Bob.
Thank you, Amani. SWF next Saturday night. Bayville Elks Lodge, 4-way. Myself against Ace Hitman Jones, Philly Mike Swanson, and Sir Christopher Michaels. It's worth the drive down to Bayview. Santo Domingo, April 7th. I come back.
Okay.
All right.
Guys?
Once again, just follow us on our social media platforms. We just reopened our social media after opening up our website at imperialwrestling.com. Get us on IG. That's Instagram at Imperial World Wrestling. Twitter is iWorld Wrestling, and our Facebook page is Imperial World Wrestling. We're gonna be at our
April
representatives
13th.
April 13th. We'll be at a pro wrestling tryout, Trifecta Academy
In Jersey.
So
SWF.
So any pro wrestlers want to come out, we'll be there scouting.
We'll be on the panel.
And other than that, next up is the press conference, April 27th. So any
All
media
good.
outlets want to come and support, just hit us up through our office number.
All good. And 350 days, April 2nd, Superstar Billy Graham, Bret Hart. Bret Hart and Chris Jericho have been promoting it. Yeah, so we're excited about that. April 2nd, iTunes and video on demand, Blu-ray, DVD, etc. So thank you guys, really appreciate it.
No doubt.
And in just a few minutes, JMI, also known as Junk Made Ill, live music in studio. Don't go anywhere, folks. Be right back.
Shot to make it strong, so a night to shake it off, another night to make it on. It's so exciting, a hot kiss could start a fire, whatever it is can make you high, a mess when it's inside. It's so inviting, over and over, I want you again, I want to be closer. Denial. one more night is one more lie. It's so defining. Over and over I watch you again. I want to be closer. Denial, caught between the lines. Denial, caught me by surprise. We try, hoping one night to decide. Hoping one night we cry. Hoping one night is enough. We lie, hoping one night we deny. Hoping one night till we die. Knowing one night not enough. Over and over I watch you again. I want to be closer, closer. Round and round, it's all she knows. Play the part of being used. The more she hides, the more I show. I wanna be abused by you. Your body's like an undertow. You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows everything I need. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. I fall down, but only 'cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taken. It's like the more you break me, the more I like to take. Round and round, it's all a show. I'm the one that's being used. The scars are just the afterglow of living on a fuse. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, You're mad, I'm not ever left. I am pure love, just complete. Give it everything is bursting in me, busting when it's there. Just gonna be you for me, come clean. You need to grab your monster by the fucking head, slap him once till he's fucking dead. Stick him in the tub and fucking drown his head, till you become what you fucking say you would. I don't care what's bothering you, it ain't my fault. Stop pimping and your shit and all up, you're so small. I'll spray you with my face so you think you're right, I can't. Embedded in my head, exactly when I'm folding. Everything is bursting in me, busting when it's there. Just gonna be you for me, complete. Everything is bursting in me, busting when it's there. Just gonna be you for me, complete. Everything is bursting in me, busting when it's air. Just gonna be you for me, everything.
All right, we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com, joined by JMI, also known as Junk Made Ill. Welcome.
What's
Hi.
up?
And introduce yourselves.
You start off.
I'm Jamie, JMI. This is Dave.
I'm Dave. I'm the guy behind the scenes. She's the one up in front.
No, he plays guitar also,
Yeah.
On stage. in
Well,
front of
yeah,
your face.
I don't get
Rocks out.
I don't get center stage like this lady right here.
You look a little like Elvis Costello back in the day. Anybody ever tell you that?
No,
Yes.
that's the first time. Maybe different generations. Most people also associate me with like Dave Matthews,
Ben
or
Stiller.
like Ben Stiller, or like
Wait, what was the other
McLovin.
one?
Like
McLovin!
probably the
Well,
closest.
these are all
right? Yeah.
these are all complimentary, though.
Elvis Costello, the first time anyone's ever said that. and I
Elvis
love it, though.
Costello's a genius.
I mean,
Yes,
hopefully,
truth.
maybe.
If you compare
Dave is
to
also-
genius, that's a compliment.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
Dave can build a
Awesome.
computer. He's kind of genius
Really?
himself.
I mean, a
Yeah,
lot
he
of
can
people
like
build
actually
a
put it
computer.
together and
It's
build
not
it.
that hard to build a computer.
Honestly, that's the craziest thing that
They-
you heard
they
anyone
literally
say,
have-
right?
They give you like a Lego block, and in it says, okay, plug in your card here, plug in your motherboard here, and then it's like, yeah. That's
If
it.
I bought a new computer, I couldn't figure out how to plug it in and get the thing going. You're underestimating yourself.
Thank you.
All right.
This is
Seriously.
therapy
Fine,
for
yeah.
Dave. This is
Yeah,
good.
This show is just therapy for me. That's why I do radio.
I hardly get to talk all the time like this,
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
he
go.
always asks for a mic on the stage, and
Yeah.
we tell him no.
She
So
always
this
says no.
is he gets it now.
Okay. And when I saw your bio, I was intrigued by it says genre-less. And one of my favorite bands was Kid Creole and the Coconuts. I don't know if you're familiar with them. But
No.
tremendous live band who didn't fit any particular genre.
Awesome.
It was hip hop and reggae and Latin jazz. It was like a whole New York stew. They came out of the Lower East Side
Oh.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And why is your group genreless? That's interesting.
I'll leave that one to you.
I think that we just grew up listening to a lot of types of music, So then I don't think that it was like one influence or one major thing. So it's produced electronically, so it's got electronic feel to it, I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop, so I feel like I write bass lines and like beats from there.
Okay.
Dave is like an indie rocker, pop.
So who are some of the artists
crossover.
that have influenced you both?
So many.
I mean, for me, personally, like artists, like more of a producer side would be like Danger Mouse. Like he's a guy from like Gnarls Barkley, and he does his own stuff on the side as well. And like, yeah, his like, I just always liked fusion, like electronic type instrumentation with acoustic,
right?
Because it sounds so organic, like the two like contrasting type of frequencies and sounds.
Yeah.
So but I'd say that would probably one of my bigger influences. But then rock, like I 90s kid, so I grew up listening to grunge, all those.
I think that's a lot
then.
in our live performance too. Like our live performance, I feel like it's more grungy, and then you listen to some of the records on Spotify. It sounds like
a little more pop produced, but like we're
polished.
like raw, like guitar, drums, and like a synth bass. I don't have the basses right now.
So it's interesting to mention grunge and hip hop in the same.
Yeah, we keep it simple, like
I think those are probably the two most influential
songs.
songs.
We got our grit on our amps, and just straight rocking out. She's jumping up around down the stage,
I'm like a crazy person,
going into the crowds, like talking to people, like
like yelling at you if you're not like listening to me.
Yeah, her personality is very magnetic, so like people like are just naturally like tend to be like a like gravitate towards her and whatnot, just because she has that outgoing type of.
So this is kind of like yin yang because you seem relatively
Yeah.
quiet.
He's the one that does all the smart things, like behind the scene, like you just said, he builds a computer.
Right.
Just like throwing
I try to keep everything in check, I guess. Like I'm the counterbalance to to the the excitement. That,
he's like the warm center. He's the reliable space.
And in the looks are deceiving department. When your manager Ricky walked in, I assumed he was one of the musicians. Right?
Can't judge a book by its cover. But
I would have assumed you were the manager and Ricky was one of the musicians.
I love it.
Seriously. Right.
How many of you guys know
that
too?
Is so funny.
I get that from the wrestling people. You look too straight to be one of the wrestling people. But
oh,
I'm involved
really?
in wrestling.
Yeah. I'm more of I did a lot of keyboards, so I get more a little refined, I guess, if you will. But now I play more guitar, so it's fun.
Yeah, he's starting to rock out. We need to get him some hairdo, right? Like a funky hairdo.
Yeah, but I'm more of a guy just wake up, pull my hair forward, walk out.
Whatever works. I don't think it really matters today. I think as long as the music's great and. Dave Matthews looks like any guy walking down the street.
Truth.
That is true.
I mean, I think that's important too. I think it needs to go back to the music right now because it's been so the other way. You watch the award shows this year and it's like everyone's supposed to talk a certain way and wear a certain thing. You were like, wait a minute, where's the musicians and where's the rock and roll? It used to be interesting. Someone would pop out and Courtney Love would fall over, on the red carpet and that was.
See,
awesome.
Speaking of that, I'm almost wondering these days because how the music and fashion, so you notice you got all the 90s look, if you will, is coming back into fashion. Everyone's wearing these big boxy things, these colorful things. It's straight cyclical, all 100%. But music in itself, I've always wondered, will music come back to that type of thing where you get that attitude and that feeling and that influence with that type of culture or
you still need that perfect package like a Prince who was a musical genius and had the look.
Right.
That's hard to come by.
Yeah.
I mean,
Prince
was a virtuoso musician who could play, pretty much any instrument on top of being a brilliant songwriter and an unbelievable stage performer. And he had the look.
Amazing. Amazing.
Maxwell, Maxwell?
There you go, yeah.
I love Maxwell.
Yeah.
This guy comes out in a suit, so he's not trying to, he's just going to sing.
Yeah. Whatever you're most comfortable in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think great music is what's really first and
now,
foremost.
Going on a side little tangent from this, it's is music gonna go back to its roots where it's instruments, it's people playing together, it's people feeling each other, vibing out.
That's what's happening right now.
Or is it gonna continue to go where the guy sits behind his room and he hits a button and he does that and then he plays a little sample and he does that, is that
Remember back in the day, the Doors? Remember Jim Morrison said that it was going to be one person on a computer?
Oh,
he said that back in the day. So I think it's a thing that's happening and then it's coming back because I started producing just on the computer, right? And then it's the band came in because you go to all these shows and then everyone just plays a computer and sings. And I've done that. I've sat on stage by myself. It's horrible. It's a horrible experience. But you're I'm going to do it.
Nothing like a live band.
Right.
Well,
nothing.
That's the other thing. I've never once, in all my years doing music, as it's been a long time before even doing this band, never once have I gotten that feeling as you do when you have three people connecting
Yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
on a song, or like you hit the downbeat just correctly.
I'm
You know,
fr-
like
I'm
that.
from the Parliament Funkadelic James Brown.
yeah.
20
That's
people
dope.
connecting.
Yeah.
20
20
people
people,
connecting.
yeah, that's a whole nother
You
level.
know,
Yeah. No,
so
yeah,
that's a
that's
whole
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what have been some of your highlights thus far in your musical careers?
I would say, playing like Gramercy Theater was a big one.
Yeah, it's a nice venue.
Yeah, and we played a lot this past year at Knitting Factory. I've always loved playing Knitting Factory. Just to kind of playing the stages where I grew up like watching people.
Yeah.
So
I
Highline
saw
Ballroom.
Bernie Worrell at the Knitting Factory. He was a genius.
That's
The original
awesome.
Knitting Factory? Or
The original.
The original
Knitting
one,
Factory.
yeah, not
God,
the New
yeah,
Brooklyn.
in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like multiple floors.
Oh, yeah.
I remember beginning of college going there one night. It was great. So many
You're showing your age.
Yeah. Then they closed it down. And
I've
they moved
never even been
Brooklyn.
to the original one.
Have you never been to the
No.
original Knitting Factory?
No, I only
Oh,
have-
it was great. It was
You're
like
too young.
It was right above,
This one.
right below Canal Street. Right?
Too
What is that? Yeah, right below Canal Street. Like.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was in the Lower
Washington,
East Side.
so
But
They had some legendary artists in there. That was a serious
Yeah.
venue.
Well, I
Yeah.
got the tail end of it, unfortunately. So but.
it's weird
I've
that
heard.
the venues, I feel like, because Highline just closed, right?
Yeah. I was
Highline
also at like the
Ballroom?
tail end of
Did it?
CBGB
Yeah,
too.
like we played
Really?
there this past year. Yeah, I mean, I remember that
The
was
Highline Ballroom closed. I didn't know that.
It's really
BB
s-
King's closed.
Yep.
Do you know that BB
Yeah.
King's? They actually went on social media and said we had night after night of sellouts, and we closed because the rent was so high.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
I mean,
So
some of the
sad.
best nights of my life were at BB King's. I mean,
I bet that sounds.
oh
fun.
man, I mean the people, Larry Graham. I mean, some of the greatest artists in history at BB King's, and the place shut down. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's funny that
crazy.
it's just so much expensive for rent, especially for commercially one. Like the residential market in New York isn't hot at all. You know, it went up like 2% like in the past year. Like it's just it's
it's
crazy
true,
that
but
rents are so high.
They're pushing. It's bad though. It's bad for the artists because
Of course.
those venues, each time you play there's like a different deal on when you have to play. So basically you're having to put more and more money down to get in the door to even like get your fans there.
Our mutual friend Timothy Dark. who
Yay,
set this
Timothy!
up,
Shout out
he,
Timothy.
he tells me all the horror stories, the economics
It's horrible.
of it.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
actually, like-
getting progressively worse. Like even just in the last 6 months, we've played one venue and then played it again, and the door changed. It's like your cut changed.
Yeah.
Your list for who you have coming to see you that's important changed. Like all of a sudden people have to pay $5, nothing. Yeah. So like they're pinching for money right now because they're being pinched. And it's sad because instead of like working with the artists and being like, what can we do? Like work as a team, like together and like promote this and like get people out because people always want to see live music.
Of course.
That's the truth. So instead what's happening is they're getting scared and then it's like greedy and then they're closing down because the artists can't play there anymore.
Yeah. And you get these little pockets, like now there's a little scene in Staten Island because it's cheaper there.
Oh, really?
Because now Brooklyn's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, Brooklyn's crazy.
Ridiculous for like 7-8 years.
There's still good spots in Brooklyn you can do. We produced a show in Brooklyn a few months ago and that was awesome. Gold Sounds, that was cool.
But the Bronx is where it's at, actually. That's the next hot neighborhood that everyone keeps talking about. Surprisingly, right?
I should have bought something in Long Island City 30 years ago.
Oh, Long Island City, yeah.
Killing it right now.
Boy, I was stupid.
That's where our studio is, and we got it just 2 years ago, and it just right on the cusp of it blowing up. And now there's just like
sucks for all those people who speculated about Amazon because they lost a lot of money right then.
I'm 103 years old. About 30 years ago, people would say to me, buy property in Long Island City. There were literally needles on the street, hookers.
What?
Oh, yeah, it was a hellhole 30 years ago.
I believe it, yeah.
It was.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Heyday of the city, like back then. Like my uncle, I remember my uncle's like little old, obviously older than me, but he was telling me all those crazy stories.
You should send the East Village back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, he was telling me he was burning
Alphabet
cars in the
City,
South Bronx
boy.
and stuff. Oh yeah. Oh dude, I remember even.
I remember I know the East Village changing even since.
Yeah.
Even
I remember
like
like
5
my
years, 10
freshman year of college. I remember the NYU people said like, oh, you can't go past Avenue A because it's all shady past there. Like they're like. A was aware, B was I told you about, B was beware,
B was beware,
and then D was dead, So we never went that far.
I had a girlfriend in Alphabet City in the 80s. There were like 20 drug dealers outside the apartment, but they never bothered anybody. They just wanted to do business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they're businessmen, Come on.
Exactly.
Just working.
They're just working. People have needs.
So if I had half a brain, I would have bought property in the East Village and Long
Island
City.
City.
Yeah, of course.
But
for sure.
Well, hindsight's always 100%.
Yeah. Or I say 2020.
all of us should have wrapped up those comic books and baseball cards and everything else.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
even know about that. Like, I still have some baseball cards, basketball cards, but I think they're worth like jack. They're they're worth nothing. It's only worth value if enough people think about it, and I feel like trading cards just went out the door. Like probably like our generation, kids don't. By the time they don't collect trading cards, they collect Pokemon and like other stuff on their phone.
Yeah.
You know.
Should we close the door? Some sounds carrying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a little brief timeout,
Sure.
and we'll show. We have another video of yours.
Do we have another video right now?
Okay.
You can show. Yeah, there's another one if you want.
Show the commercials. Meanwhile, we're gonna do a little sound deal here, and when we come back, we'll be back.
350 days a year as a wrestler on the road. Maybe it's a sickness.
350 days a year.
A lot of physical pain, a lot of loneliness.
You have no home life whatsoever.
Piper and me riding down the road, doing 8 balls of cocaine. I'm sure it broke up marriages.
How many guys in the wrestling business have a family left when they're done? Most of them lose it.
I couldn't have children. I couldn't put on my turnbuckle while mommy worked.
I hit the bars, and that was my character.
Sitting in a room with a bunch of wrestlers doing cocaine, we really got to know each other.
I would take a lot of downers, and I did have problems with the downers.
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I was not a faithful husband from the first day for the whole time on the road. I lived a double life.
I needed it. It was like, I'm not getting the love I needed home.
Would I do? Oh my God! I am afraid to say I would do it again.
I wouldn't change a thing.
No regrets.
Well, I want to tell you, to make some big money in wrestling, you had to wrestle every night of the week, $30 every day. So you had to wrestle 6 and 7 times every week just to earn your money.
350 days on the road with wrestlers, a living hell.
All right, we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com. And in just a minute or two, we're going to have a live music set from JMI, also known as Junk Made Ill. And what are we going to hear?
What are you going to hear? You are going to hear 2 songs. You're going to hear Stay Away, which will be the first song we're going to play, and the second song, which is the new single coming out, which I believe you know about, Special Boy in the video as well. So we're going to close it off with that. Normally these songs are played like, awesomely. Awesomely, is that even a word? Mostly electronic, it's rock, it's dirty, there's distortion.
Test.
There's everything. But sometimes you can't do that, so we've had to figure out a couple ways to tone it down and make it like really chill, and so we can do stuff.
I mean, we can totally bring the whole band next time and rock out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Our drummer, and then it would be so crazy.
Our drummer doesn't like playing like natural drums, like Tom, like
Trevor. Shout out to Trevor.
So,
have you ever had a better backdrop than what's behind you? How great is that? Yeah.
It is pretty cool, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff back here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just got a picture with that when I was driving back from Vegas. I have a picture with that.
Yeah,
we're going. Did you say we're going to LA?
No, I didn't know. You can talk about that one.
Yeah, we're going on our first tour to the West Coast.
Wow.
On the 7th.
Awesome.
We're playing Whiskey A Go Go.
The Doors played Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah,
do you know that?
Exactly.
Back then. Yeah. I think I remember watching that when I watched The Doors.
Exactly, the movie, right?
Yeah. He was okay. Val Kilmer was. What do you think of
awesome.
Val Kilmer in The
Don't
Doors?
like
Did you like him or did he not do a good Jim Morrison type?
I think the problem with somebody who's that famous, like Morrison, you're always going to say that's an actor. That's not Morrison.
Yeah.
It's like when Will Smith played Muhammad Ali. I'm like, that's not Muhammad Ali. That's Will Smith.
What about Rami Malkin and playing Freddie Mercury?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
Yeah. I thought the guy that played James Brown was great.
I never saw that one.
Yeah.
I should watch that.
Get On Up, tremendous.
Get On Up,
tremendous.
yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't whitewash it. They show him beating his wife, and it was rough.
Damn.
It was rough. Yeah.
Oh
He had
my
so much
God.
energy. I mean, I had to go someplace, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, we
That's
have to
mean.
play.
Dark humor.
Dark humor.
Okay.
Dark humor. But we do have we have some videos coming out. We have Special Boy coming out, which we're gonna play for you. So that will be coming out in the next month.
And before you do your set, plug anything you want to plug. Gigs.
Plug our drummer.
Oh, we're
He's
playing.
Here.
Yeah, Trevor.
Trevor doesn't like 11 a.m. gigs.
No, he does not.
And he's a Jersey boy, so
yeah.
like he has to like cross two
It's
rivers.
like a
technically.
far trip.
Well, it's not swimming two rivers. It's a radio show.
Man, I
Anyway.
wouldn't want to swim in neither of those rivers. Even though you can eat in the Hudson now, they say you can eat fish from the Hudson. No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Better you than me.
Yeah, I'm not supposed
Yeah.
to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, anyone else who go ahead. They say you can do it.
If you want to find anything about us, like any tour information or any links to Spotify videos, you can always just look up Junk Made Ill. That's what JMI stands for. So JUNK.
And what does the name mean for those who don't know?
It means, you know, I think I started writing music when I was in a bad place, and I wrote songs, and that made me feel better. So what came out of that in the beginning was that it was like an emotional
Catharsis.
space. Yeah, exactly. So it was therapy, but then it's like reaching other people, and it's being their therapy. So we, you know, take something shitty, make it dope. Junk Made Ill.
There you go.
Is basically, that's the beginning. And also it's become, it's funny with us, it's like a joke now because we've pulled like guitars out of garbage cans and then like fixed them up, you know, and
So that's literally.
That's literally, yeah. The drum set is like 3 different things from different places, you know.
Wow.
So it's just, we've created the studio out of like all kind of just like pieces that came to us organically.
It's
And
almost
like,
you know, like we get chaos, but we somehow, you know, straighten it out.
And I just want to thank again Timothy Dock, who also
we love
It's
Timothy.
a mix of rock, hip hop, everything.
Yeah, that's why we played a lot of shows
Timothy's
with him.
brilliant. Yeah.
Were you at the show? Weren't you at Highlight?
Ballroom?
Yeah, so you saw us play.
Oh, yeah.
No, Timothy's my boy.
Timothy's
and we actually
awesome.
saw him in Vegas because he moved there, and then now he has a show in Vegas.
Yeah, he did a show here a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah. So then he's doing his show Dark Television, and he's showing music videos, and he just showed our music video in Vegas. So
yeah,
it's all a family.
Timothy's the real deal.
He's the best.
All right. So let's hear a short set from JMI, Junk Made Ill. Assuming all the tech stuff's in order. Everything good, Jim? All right.
Test. Test.
Alright, so you ready? Let's start off. Yeah, you got good singles right here?
Stay away?
Yep, cool, awesome. Ready? Yeah, so stay away.
Are you nervous, Dave?
No.
Are you sure you're playing Stay Away?
This is live radio, folks.
Yeah. You know how it goes sometimes.
Okay, I guess I'll sing to it then. There is a boy and there is a girl. See, you're playing Special Boy.
No, I'm not.
You are.
We got off track here.
This is awesome.
It's not-
That's Junk Made Ill, yo. This is what's up.
We played this the other day. Let's go.
I know, but okay, go for it.
It's intimate. We're breaking down, Jamie.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Just give it to me. Give it to me. There is.
Start off with the
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Get you into it. That's it, of course.
Okay. Stay away from me. You make me see how weak I am. I am. There is a boy and there is a girl. They come from the same fucked up world. Different lives but are the same. And cannot live with all the pain. So they make love to each other, find romance in one another. Then one day it all comes out. It's not love like she does. And I really want to hate you, but there's no way I'll hate you because I'm so ill. Stay away from me. You make me see how weak I am. I am. I know you think that I'm crazy, but it's alright. I know you think that I'm loosen, but I'm so tight. And what you think is right is wrong, that makes me so right. You think I'm gonna fail, get your shades, I'm so right. Wow, I'm floating in the air, I'm so high. Wow, I'm floating in the air, I'm so high. Wow, I'm floating in the air, I'm so high. Wow, time sinking, sinking, I'm dynamite. Stay away from me. You make me see how weak I am. Time sinking, sinking, I'm dynamite. Wow, time sinking, sinking, I'm dynamite. Wow, time sinking, sinking, I'm dynamite. Wow, time sinking, sinking, I'm dynamite. Stay away from me. You make me see how weak I am. I am.
We actually only played that song 2 times together without our pianist because he should be here.
Like Trevor piano, you know, we just it's a little sorry if it's a little rough.
It worked. Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll play Special Boy for You,
Yeah,
which
this
is the
is
new
the
single coming out, and we're going
This is the
to promote
acoustic
in
version of the
LA.
new single.
And this song everyone should relate to.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Come in. Yeah,
More
come
the
watch.
merrier.
The more the merrier. But this song is just, you know, it's like, I'm sure everyone's had like that one relationship that just really fucking sucked, you know? Like that one person.
Yeah, come on. Like,
That one person that really threw you for a loop, you know, you thought it was one thing, but it's definitely not. So this is dedicated to that.
Special boy. That's Special Boy. Ready?
Can you tell me my words? Because I forgot my words right now.
I don't know your words.
Wait,
I
ready?
don't
Do you
know the
guys
words
know
of
it?
the
Ricky, do
song.
you know my words? Ricky, do you know your words?
She is.
You know the first verse?
I do. You want me to sing the song?
Yeah, let's go, man.
I'm gonna try to sing and play at the same time.
I dare you.
I don't even know the words, but I know some of the words. There is a boy and there is a girl.
Oh, that's the wrong song.
Oh no, is it? Is it? No, it's not. I don't even know. See, there you go.
See how hard this is?
It's like. I'm sure I'm singing right the lyrics. Huh? Not that part yet. This is so funny. Start it up.
Okay.
All right, so let's just start again. No, we're gonna start again. We're sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on right now, but
I love it. It's so real.
all right. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes, go.
Like we do in practice.
Can you do the hook? Can you do the hook?
All right.
I thought I found a special boy. Well, seems he thinks I am just a toy. I thought I found a special boy. Boy, yeah. Well, seems he thinks I am just a toy. What am I supposed to do with your heart, boy? When it's lovely and too many parts, boy. I wanna reach you, teach you, make you feel right, boy. But I seem too deep into your eyes, boy. Want you in my arms, feel high, but I know you're not so tight. It's gonna
you who tries. I've been the one who made it this time. I thought I found a special boy who seems he thinks I am just a toy. Am I supposed to do with your heart when it's lovely? Too many parts, boy. I wanna reach, teach you, make you feel right, boy. But I seem too deep into your eyes, boy. Want you in my arms, feel high, but I know you're not so tight. It's gonna have to be you who tries. I've been the one who made it this time. I thought I found a special boy who seems he thinks I am just a toy. I thought I found a special boy, but yeah, seems he thinks I am just a toy. Special boy, seems he thinks I am just a toy. I thought I found a special boy, yeah, yeah. Well, seems he thinks I am just a toy, a toy. Ooh, I thought I found a special boy.
Yeah, we got there.
All right, so this is your opportunity to do a Taylor Swift and expose who the bad guy was. No, I'm kidding.
Yo, there's no bad blood.
Yeah.
I give a shout out to.
Yeah.
Shout out to.
I'll tell you a story.
Someone else can tell you sitting in this room.
A friend of mine was a songwriter. Did an entire album on a No Good Husband. True story.
Really?
True story. I won't name names, but.
I bet you it was a good album.
Oh, it was damn good because it was.
It's from
the
here.
heart.
It's the heart. Honestly, it's the worst because when you're happy, you're like, oh yeah, I'm so happy, but then you're like writing shitty music.
Well, Marvin Gaye used to say he wrote from love and pain. You know.
Yeah.
Do you write better from love or pain?
I think pain, but I mean, I think I'm just learning the balance because I was so like miserable being miserable that I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to be like baseline happy,
right?
You know, and like get excited about things, but still be, you know, kind of like emo and just like right.
See, what you need to do is like Lady Gaga and become like a billionaire. And then your ex-boyfriend sees this and he puts a gun to his head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's the plan.
There you go.
Nice
there
plan.
you go. I'm kidding, by the way.
Look, everyone's scared.
I'm kidding, by the way.
Treat your ladies well, gentlemen. Treat your ladies well.
Yeah. Can you imagine Lady Gaga's ex-boyfriends watching her like on the Grammys?
Oh,
or the
yeah.
Oscars or...
Yeah. I think she was telling a story about it recently. She was talking about it in an interview. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, they're telling me I wasn't going anywhere. Yeah. Eat those words.
Stephanie, what's her name? Stephanie Giamatti or Giamatti?
Yeah. Is his mic okay, Jim?
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Yeah. It's like talking to his knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
Yes.
Well,
wait.
What were we talking about? We're talking about Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's great,
Stephanie.
though. She's cool. She's really smart.
There you go. He's very calm. I like him.
He's very calm.
So,
that's why I keep him around. You see, it's like he's like he's the Xanax.
This works.
Yeah. Exactly, you know?
It's like I'm tequila.
It gets up here, I have to take it down here.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to plug before we wrap this up?
Just that look out for Special Boy coming out, the full rock band version and the video, made by my talented team. A.R. Holsenbach is a great director. She directed the video you guys saw earlier too, Bustin' Seams, and Nira Burstein produced, shot everything. So they're amazing. And that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. I guess.
Yeah, and catch us on tour if you want. Oh, also, actually, ridiculous. We're playing a show tomorrow in Manhattan if you guys want to come.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
We forgot about that show. No problem. It's called Coney Island, baby. It's a cool venue in the Lower East Side, Avenue A,
actually.
169 Avenue A. It's really cheap tickets at the door, only $8.
Awesome.
They have good drinks. You can rent cheap drinks, and it's like a very cool little venue. So we're gonna be rocking out like full band, full set there tomorrow, 9 p.m.
Yep.
If you guys want to come.
My late father used to say the hip people go out Monday nights.
Exactly.
That's what my father used to say.
That's why we wanted to do it. It's not fun Saturday.
I'd rather go out on Monday night anyway. Like the only time I go out on a Saturday night if someone like drags me out there for some like event or something. But other than that, you know what? I'm more of like a 5 to 7, like have a few drinks type of guy, and
There you
go.
I'm into it.
Absolutely.
He likes those craft beers, so.
And thank your manager who's helped put this.
Thank you, Ricky. We love Ricky. He's the best.
So that should about do it, folks.
And shout out to Kay in LA.
Oh yeah, K in LA.
Yeah.
KLA.
Kay in LA.
All right. So that's Junk Made Ill, JMI.
Yay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Bring the
much.
whole band next time.
Okay, we'd love to.
We could fit about.
You think we could put
40
drums
people
here?
in there, right there.
Okay.
40 people,
Yeah,
yeah.
joking.
We
Do you
have
think
a
it will
little
be too
we can have
loud?
a little show.
It'll be so loud.
Jim, how many people could we get in
I
here?
would suggest bring the drummer, but the drummer can use
Maybe like something.
double pieces.
Yeah, like a
Yeah, we give him like
set.
I've had that.
Okay.
I've had some people use the Cajun over there.
Oh, is that one of those little blocky drum things that I see people? I've never understood how people play that, but it's just like a block of wood.
Awesome. I never heard anything like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, what about a space drum?
Space drum is cool.
Space drum is
Yeah.
dope. That is actually
Yeah,
a
we
nice
can bring
thing.
that.
Those things are also tuned to like certain keys as well, so no matter what you hit, it always sounds like perfect.
You guys know Max Roach? Max
No.
Roach was the greatest jazz drummer in history. He would do 50-minute solo drum shows.
Wow.
Holy.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
It might be
More
on
power to
YouTube.
him.
Well, he's long gone now, but he
yeah.
was amazing. He was
Yeah.
amazing.
Those joints
Look
got to
that
hurt
up.
after like 20 minutes, I'm sure.
50-minute solo drum shows. No
Like, how do you even make
Amazing.
20-minute drum solos? Like, you have to hit so many different variations. of
Then
it.
there was a guy, Andrew Cyril, who was more avant-garde. He'd be playing the drums, the wall, the floor, simultaneously. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So check that out on
That's
YouTube.
cool.
Love that.
That
That's
sounds
how we
like some
record.
Junk Made Ill
That's
stuff.
what I like recording. And you heard Bustin' Seams earlier. All those sounds in there, like tapping light bulbs together and like touching the wall and being a weirdo in the studio for like way too long by myself.
You guys have an awesome sound.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No, really,
appreciate it.
appreciate
it.
It is a mix of everything, which
Cool.
which is appreciated because a lot of stuff on the radio is like cookie cutter after.
Exactly,
A while.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there needs to be a return to like real
Yeah.
music, like this whole like connect with people, like
Yeah.
going to a show and watching someone behind two decks and like it's not the same as like unless you're tripping or something, but it's not the same as like
some drugs.
just like going to a show, having a beer, watching three people who obviously enjoy playing music, like just rock out and have a good time, and everyone else hopefully will too.
There you go.
Yeah, the
Amen.
music, and I think that's the music industry right now is interesting because it's turning back to the music. But when everything started happening with streaming and stuff, people got scared, and then they just were like, we need to make a song that someone's gonna play 25 times in a row,
Yeah,
so we can
right.
make money.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they have like the best writers, but it's like the same 5 writers. So then
25
they're
times a
that's
day,
why you
25
everything
years.
sounds the same.
And you have the obligatory little rap in the middle of it.
That
You
happens
got to
too.
switch it up,
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, just random side note, I sort of want to take a picture with that. We should take a picture with that guy right there. Who's
Okay.
that anyway?
Yeah, we should.
I don't think it's any
It's just-
particular person.
Just a saxophonist?
Yeah.
It's like so like trippy because it's like his head is just floating there in space, like Dali or something.
There you go.
Dave took some drugs before this, actually.
You should have brought him.
Anyway,
Next
our
time.
engineer Jim's been here since 2 a.m. and it's 112
Oh my
degrees
God.
in here, so
Jim.
we're gonna wrap this up. But once again, thank you to JMI,
Thanks,
Junk
Jim.
Made Ill,
Thanks, Evan. Thank
Amani
you.
Label,
Thanks, Timothy.
Simply Splendid, Bobby C, Tom Frazier,
Woo!
and I always have to acknowledge Monty and the Pharaoh Thursdays 8:05.
Oh, Ricky wants to say that we're playing Silver Lake.
Silver Lake Lounge.
On when?
That's going to be August 14th.
April 14th. April 14th.
April 14th.
Only off by like 3 months.
It begins with an A.
April 14th.
Yeah, so if you guys want to take a trip across the country to LA.
Or you are in LA.
Or you are in LA.
Because, that's how the radio works.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we are.
There you go.
National and global, I
National.
guess.
Touring the world and having fun.
Yes.
JMI Junk Maydale.
Thanks, guys. We
Thank you
love
so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you for having us.
so much fun.
Appreciate it.
Okay. That'll about do it, folks.
Sweet. Bye-bye.
Conversation that all dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clear. Oh, I shed all of my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on. Security, this newfound freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded guns. This outbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded guns. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind clears. Oh.